This was almost an ad for the adventures of Chino and Homeboy. You were gonna skip it, but it's already over. Kind of like your attention span.
Let's face it, AI is a genie that is not going back in the bottle. If you're a Luddite who doesn't think AI should be used at all because it's an affront to human creativity, then I'm sorry, but this video isn't for you. You can rage watch it if you want, but your time would be better served reading a book, and let's be honest, I probably won't care about your comment either, so don't waste your time doing that either. For the rest of you, I've been writing for more than 30 years now. I have a bachelor's degree in English literature with a minor in communications. I've also been trained at the Defense Information School as a mass communication specialist for the United States Navy and have a certificate from San Diego City College in television, radio, and film. For the last 9 years, I've been working in Hollywood, first as an audience coordinator assistant at CBS, then as a mailroom supervisor at a television studio. I've worked with people who all had dreams of making it big as writers, comedians, actors, directors, and so on. But the reality of the current state of the entertainment industry has made a lot of people give up. Not that there aren't any success stories. I know people who are writers on animation projects for Disney, former VPs of production companies who now run their own production companies, people who are high level executives at other production companies. I've handed these people my scripts, and they have passed them on to the people who read and represent writers. I've even sent my scripts to the comedy development department of CBS way back when and got the best rejection letter ever. The one thing all these folks told me was the same, that I have a good instinct for story and character development, but that the material is not what they're looking for. The reason is simple. Audiences simply aren't watching original content. They're tuning into properties that already have a track record for quality. Even if what the studios are cranking out is subpar, because of the trust and loyalty audiences have in these properties, studios can rely on rebooting them ad nauseum, ad infinitum, until they make something good. Give it up for brand loyalty, folks. So, where does that leave you? If you're a screenwriter with original ideas, don't give up. Keep writing screenplays. Eventually, the pendulum will swing back to studios wanting to purchase original work because audiences will clamor for them. Eventually. In the meantime, if Hollywood isn't going to come calling or give you the time of day, then do what I did. Convert those screenplays into novels or books. This was my logic. Hollywood may not be sniffing around for original work, but it does sniff around for proven brands. It's like you walking into a store and deciding whether to trust a generic brand versus a national brand. If you knew nothing about what you were shopping for, you're going to go with the national brand because of national trust, even though the generic brand might have all the same ingredients and maybe even taste better. The same goes for the studios. They don't know what the fuck they're doing either. They're just now realizing that their algorithms can't predict audience taste because way back when choosing projects, movies and television shows, was a true art form. You had to be part psychic of the zeitgeist and part business guru, and for that, you needed to be familiar with people. These tech bro eggheads were all probably cloistered most of their lives, nepo babies, or just not social enough to understand taste. Also, a lot of the old Gen X people that grew up on original content are now in charge of all these studios. So, what do you expect but to see all those Saturday morning cartoons come back as movies and revamped TV shows? Don't be surprised if you see a Silverhawks or Mask franchise crop up soon. I mean, they're trying to resurrect Highlander with Henry Cavill as the Highlander, for Christ's sake. But there's still a Wild West where you can set up next to the creative river and pan for that Hollywood contract. Books. Yep, books. Because the only other place Hollywood looks for proven branded audience ready IP is books. It's low cost because books are cheap, and because media companies tend to already have a publishing arm, it doesn't take much to contract an author or purchase that property. However, there's this other market, the self publishing market, and that is where the real opportunity is. Think 50 Shades of Grey. It may seem like a one off fluke, but the reality is it's not. It just had something that most people would kill for marketing. 50 Shades of Grey wasn't even called that when it was a fanfic. Think of the implications though. 50 Shades of Grey was just a Twilight rehash, taking a proven product, rebranding it to look original, and bam, another movie series. Same goes for anything Shakespeare wrote. If you can get past the prose or just have ChatGPT translate it for you, you can literally steal the premise, adapt it to another period with your own voice, and bam, another original work. And let's not forget that Shakespeare wrote plays that are now considered literature, and even he or she was stealing from the Italians. It's true what they say: good writers borrow, great writers steal. Or better yet, good writers steal from one person, great writers steal from everybody. Books also have an advantage that screenplays don't. They can skip the representative line. See, when you try to sell a screenplay or pitch an idea for legal reasons, you need to know people, i.e., agents, that can get you into the door, then into the meeting. Books don't need that. Then there's the meeting itself. You have to convince the reader who reads your script or the producer who's going to purchase it that your idea will work, that people will flock to movie theaters or tune in to their streaming service to watch it. With a book, you already have an audience. You don't need to prove a damn thing. With a book that has a good sized audience and a hold of the zeitgeist, studios only have to worry about whose name they have to make the check out to. That's where this video comes in. I'm going to show you how I converted my screenplays into prose that you can publish as a book so that when Hollywood does come calling, not only will you have an audience ready property, but you'll already have the screenplay ready as well, saving them even more money having to hire a writer or writer's room full of writers. Yes, I know that sounds shitty, and the WGA might blacklist me for that, but those writers are already living the nightmare. It's your turn now. I first want to establish that you cannot rely on ChatGPT to write anything for you. It sucks at writing scripts. Trust me, I've had it write a script and it can't. One, the process is too slow, and two, its memory sucks ass too. So just don't. If you don't know how to write a script, don't know shit about character development, plot, story, theme, I recommend doing that first before trying this. Otherwise, you'll just be wasting your time. There are some really cool channels that address these topics. One of them is The Second Story, any kind of interview with writers that you love and respect where they offer free advice, lessons from the screenplay, Word Dancer, How to Write a Script, and Robert Rodriguez's 10-Minute Film School. So go, learn to write. This video will still be here when you come back. For the rest of you, let's get started. All right, theory lesson over. Time to roll up your sleeves and actually do this shit. First, start a project. Now, I think you need a subscription for this. It's only $20 a month. If you're on a budget, it's worth it. Trust me. When you start a project, you have two sections. One for the project files and another for project-specific instructions. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. In the instructions panel, you are going to tell Chat exactly how you want your script converted into prose. Since I'm going to be using a script from a sci-fi space project that I'm currently working on titled Chino and Homeboy, Adventures in Space, I'm going to cheat and use another sci-fi author's voice with some modifications. I know this might piss some of you off because you're thinking, that's stealing. To which I say, no, it's not. Here's why. Your screenplay is a blueprint for a larger project, where it's a movie or a novel or a TV show. It's a blueprint. However, it's still your voice, your ideas. You can let Chat convert the entire thing, but you can also tell it to not convert certain things. My biggest strength is dialogue. So when I give Chat conversion instructions, I tell it to not touch my dialogue. That's largely where my voice shines. Then there's the action in the screenplay. That's still all you. Chat's just spicing it up. If you want, you don't have to ask Chat to use any author's voice. I just find it a little useful to use some of the analogies and metaphors that other authors have used. In fact, if you have a novel or short story that you've written and you want Chat to use that voice, that's where the project folder comes in. But first, let's set up the instructions. Here's where the frustrating part comes in, because it is a lot of trial and error until you get the voice right. Also, Chat is a lazy writer, and if you don't have any metaphors or analogies or similes in your screenplay because you wrote like a professional, then Chat is going to inevitably use the same analogies and similes that it has learned from consuming so many books. And let me tell you, some of these I didn't know were used so often in so much fucking writing. Some of its favorites are like it owes you money and then something. Then bad decisions and so on. Also, if you have any beat pauses, it will put those into your prose work. Slug lines, yep. So you're going to have to get real specific with Chat on how you want your script pages converted. Okay, we're going to call the instructions we give Chat parameters. Here are the parameters I'm giving Chat. All right. Now, I kind of copy and pasted parameters that I already had into this, right? So first, step one, or instruction number one, maximalist prose. Absurd, vivid, chaotic narration inspired by Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett, and Piers Anthony with a stoner-themed voice. 2. Dialogue is sacred. Preserve all character dialogue verbatim unless told otherwise. 3. No screenplay formatting. Never use screenplay slug lines, interior, exterior, etc. Transitions must be organic and embedded in narration. No all caps or names in prose. Character names use standard capitalization only, all caps reserved for sound effects or stylized in-universe emphasis. And let me tell you, this motherfucker will still do some of this shit, and you gotta be on top of him. Otherwise, you're gonna end up frustrated. 5. Scene transitions. Handled through natural prose or poetic transitions. No labeled or stylized breaks. Humor. Irreverent. Character driven. Grounded in tone. Balances absurdity with emotional truth. Now, again, this is just for the action. It is not for the dialogue. All of this is action. This is all just for the narrative part of the prose. All right? Not the dialogue. The dialogue should not be touched. All right? I feel like I have to repeat that because I don't know. Dialogue attribution. Every line of dialogue must be tagged clearly, no floating dialogue. Again, Chat's very lazy, so you have to be very specific because sometimes it'll write down a shit ton of fucking dialogue and it will not attribute it and you will get lost as to who is saying what. All right. 8. Action and combat. Metaphor heavy, cinematic, physics optional, prioritizes emotion and character personality. 9. No a beat. Those of you who are familiar with screenwriting, you know what a beat is. Never write a beat in prose. Pauses are shown through narrative techniques. 10. Stoner mode. Contextual. When characters are high, lean into surreal, dreamy, and stoner style similes and analogies. 11. World logic. Grounded in real world logic unless otherwise scripted. Fantasy elements are metaphorical unless explicitly part of the world. 12. Sensuality and sex. Suggestive, character driven, and humor friendly. Explicit only when script demands it. And I hate putting explicit sex scenes. I'm not trying to write a fucking porno. All right. You got Pornhub for that. I'm not Pornhub. So if you want Pornhub stuff, go to Pornhub. 13. Hard bands. No INT, EXT, no all cap names, no floating dialogue, no a beat, no lazy metaphors, no over explaining, no out of character narration. Now the only reason why I repeated that, because again, Chat's a lazy writer and it will fuck up. So you gotta stay on top of Chat. Do not hesitate to badger the motherfucker. It doesn't have any feelings. It's an artificial intelligence. Alright. Step 3. Stay organized. Now it's time to crack open a fresh doc. Chat's little sandbox for vomiting words. Step 4. Make Chat earn its money. Copy and paste a single page from your script into the query box, not the new document. Make sure to tell Chat to convert your pasted text. Don't get greedy here. One page at a time. If you dump in your whole script, Chat will choke harder than an intern on their first copy run. Step 5. Chat is a lazy bitch. Here's where you earn your stripes. Editing the AI's half-assery. Once chat spits your output onto the document, proofread it. I can't tell you how many times I've caught chat being lazy. Keep an eye out for repeated phrases that chat has used before in the prose. The more descriptive the action in your screenplay is, the better chat will convert it to prose. Step 6. Save chat's work. Once you're happy with your output, copy and paste it into a Word document or whatever freeware you use to write. After you've copied and pasted, tell chat to clear the document. Do not delete the stuff yourself. Trust me. You're going to have to kill some polar bears. Go into the query box and say, chat, clear document. Do not delete the text in the document yourself. Chat will fuck you over. All right? All right. Finally, repeat the steps until you've converted your entire script. Now you'll find that converting your script one page at a time will get tedious, and it is time consuming. So I'm here to tell you that chat can convert up to 4 or 5 pages of screenplay to prose, but it's going to be a little less maximalist, depending on your taste. And you will have to be more diligent about proofreading the prose output before copying and pasting it into your Word document. So if you want very heavy maximalist narrative prose because you have very, very strong dialogue and that's like your bread and butter, but your prose needs some work, then do one page at a time. If you want faster pacing, right? Like you want it to read just like your script, then do 4 pages at a time, or 2 or 3, however you want. All right. Just know that the more pages you have, the less maximalist chat will make it, and uh, the more opportunity it has to fuck up. Just saying. All right. By the time you're done, you won't just have a converted script. You'll have a novel that can stand on its own. A book is a billboard that screams, Hollywood, the IP already exists. All you got to do is write the check. Now, I use InDesign to put my books together. I don't know what other apps there are to publish a book, or if you even need one, and MS Word is the only one you need. But if you want me to show you how I put my book together, let me know. Otherwise, I hope this has been helpful. If it wasn't, oh well. I tried. Peace.